When I get older, losing my hair, many years from now, will you still be sending me a Valentine birthday?
Good afternoon and welcome to Berkshire Senior TV. We're going to cover two topics today, one in the beginning, and we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to talk about another topic after that. But we're going to start with the Berkshire Alzheimer's Partnership and their celebration on June 21st, upcoming The Longest Day. And I'll let Lynn and Beth introduce themselves from the partnership.
Sure. Hi, I'm Lynn Pandell from the Berkshire Alzheimer's Partnership.
And I'm Beth Hinckley-Mugin from the Berkshire Alzheimer's Partnership.
And Lynn, maybe we can start with you. Other than it being the longest day of the year, what's the significance of the longest day regarding Alzheimer's?
So on Thursday, June 21st, the Berkshire Alzheimer's Partnership will be doing their own twist of the longest day, which is an initiative from the Alzheimer's Association to pay honor and tribute to caregivers, care partners, for all those that are on the journey with someone with dementia or Alzheimer's. So the partnership, we do a sunrise to sunset vigil, where we are a purple presence in the park all day. And throughout the day we have different things planned. We'll be doing some yoga in the morning with Vicki Bandowski, a Kripalu certified yoga instructor. We'll have community resource information available. We have some workstations set up throughout the park, so folks have an opportunity to come through and talk with various members on the partnership about, they may have certain challenges throughout different times of the day or whatever, and they may bump into certain things that we're hoping these workstations can be places where they can get some concrete feedback and information. We want to hear from them what works. We're going to have music, right? Music's going to be a big part of our day.
Right.
WBRK is a big sponsor. Steve Smith will be playing some music. We have some speakers planned.
Right. Our biggest part of the day is that it be a resource for caregivers, for neighbors who want to do more for their neighbors and friends who have someone that they're caring for with Alzheimer's or a related dementia. So we want it to be a place where you can come and tell your stories. You can come and ask your questions. There will be people on the park who understand some of the things people are going through, that might be able to give some hints on maybe enhancing communication or how to fill the day, things of that nature, and how to get some resources. Mostly we're looking for people to say, yeah, this is important. We want to come to the park. We might wear a purple shirt, and we want to just support that caregivers don't have a chance to say, oh, my day's not going to start till 8 a.m. So the longest day, sunrise is at 5:15, and there will be those of us on the park at 5:15 until sunset.
And this is in Park Square?
It is in Park Square in Pittsfield, yes, June 21st.
And so another part of that, I'm sure, of picking that particular park is visibility.
Exactly. It's a central location. It's really a beautiful park. So we're hoping that people will, be able to come. It's also Third Thursday in Pittsfield. So toward the evening, Third Thursday events will be happening as well. So we're hoping people will stop over, say hi, tell their story. One of the things we do, which is quite a beautiful visual presence, is something we call tribute flags, where people can write something in honor of or in memory of someone who they have cared for or someone that they know who has had Alzheimer's or dementia, or just tell it like it is in terms of caregiving. And so the tribute flags are there. They'll be flying on little cord. It's quite beautiful. So we're hoping for a really wonderful purple presence in the park.
And let's go back to the beginning just for a second. The Berkshire Alzheimer's Partnership.
It's a volunteer group. It's been around in the Berkshires for probably 17 or 18 years. Both Lynn and I are volunteers with the partnership. It's made up of healthcare professionals, some family members, some former caregivers, as I am, as some of the other people on the partnership are. But it's a partnership of Berkshire people bringing a lot of events and information to those in the Berkshires. We have a Facebook page at Berkshire Alzheimer's Partnership, which which has a lot of information to share, a really good resource for caregivers.
And we're members at Elder Services as well.
Yes.
And work a lot with the partnership to bring educational materials,
Right.
the annual, every other year Caregiver Expo and things like that.
Correct.
I know the
Yes.
partnership does a lot besides
does.
just this. It brings a lot of
That's right.
resources for the community
Yeah.
and for those dealing either as a caregiver or
Yes.
someone with Alzheimer's.
And we appreciate the efforts from Elder Services to be part of the
We're
partnership.
just one of many. There's a lot of
Well,
folks who are involved. So,
yeah.
so maybe if just one more time you want to give the basic details of what's happening.
Thursday, June 21st, Park Square in Pittsfield. Purple presence in the park, sunrise to sunset. Come for an hour, come for whatever you can. It'll all culminate with a candlelight vigil at sunset.
That's great. We're going to take a quick break just for a minute, and we'll be right back with another topic, but we really appreciate and hope that you guys have a great event.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. We have some new guests with us today through the magic of television. And I just want to welcome some folks from Fallon Health, and I'll let each of you introduce yourself. We're going to talk a little bit about Fallon Health and their role in the Berkshires.
Great, thanks, John. Deb Davio, and I'm the Executive Director of Navicare.
Okay.
And Kimberly Salmon, I am the Director of Community Relations for Fallon Health.
So maybe that gives us a place to start, which is why is Fallon so interested in the Berkshires?
Well, let me start with what our mission is. And our mission is really around making our community healthy. And I think that our commitment to the communities that we're in is really at ground level, is that we want to get to know a community. We want to identify what are some of the barriers. We want to be a part of a community to be able to best service a community, because our mission is really truly making our communities healthier. So Berkshire's is a community that we have been connected to for a very long time, and supporting specifically around areas of food insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing that for probably about a good 11 years now, that we have been trying to support initiatives around that. And I think that it just kind of became natural that we should evolve more and maybe look at some of our products and services and bring them into the Berkshire community. So before our products came, we felt that, you know, the one thing that we could really get behind is around addressing food insecurity in the community.
And in the spirit of full disclosure, I can say that that's true, because we
Yes.
were the beneficiaries of funds
Yes.
For our Meals on Wheels program and the food program that we have, the elder nutrition program that we have. And it's been great to have a partner like Fallon come, like you said, kind of ahead of products and say, you know, we want to invest in this community and go from there. Though, Deb, you mentioned there is a specific product
Yes.
that you're involved with, and how is that coming to
Yep.
Berkshire County?
So Navicare is the product that we're talking about today, and it is offered by Fallon Health. We have our special needs plan, SNP, we also refer that, or SCO, which is
Right.
our senior care options plan, and basically it's for people who have Mass Health Standard and Medicare coverage, and it is for those who need coordinated team approached care, and we're happy to be able to bring this to the Berkshires. As Kim was saying, we've done a lot of research, and we are throughout the state of Massachusetts. So this was the last
was gonna say, you are now throughout the state.
We are now throughout the state of Massachusetts, and we couldn't be more happy to be here offering that service to low-income seniors who really need that support.
And I'll mention again that we are partners in that. We, you know,
Yes.
we have an administrative role to play
Right.
with geriatric support services coordinators, and we've worked with you.
Right.
We have a contract. So, and again, in the spirit of full disclosure,
Right.
you know, we are
Yep.
partners in many different ways to try and improve the health of the community, especially for those
Right.
over the age of 60 and 65 that we work with primarily.
Right, exactly.
So, talk about the concept of the
Yep.
SCO kind of, you know, it's a,
Yeah.
if I'm not, I mean, I think it's a managed care type
It is.
product, but that sometimes makes people feel, well, what do you mean by managed and that type of thing?
It is technically an HMO product, right? And when you say managed care, that is true. We have a coordinated approach. So there's a healthcare team, which consists of the primary care doctor that somebody selects, and then you also have the navigator and the nurse case manager, as well as your GSSCs.
right.
And that forms the healthcare team. And every individual who joins our program is, we do a health risk assessment, because it's really about individualized program, right? We want to meet the member at their needs and know what those are so that we can put programs in place, not just the medical coverage, but it's really about those long-term support services, which you are very familiar with. If they need Meals on Wheels or if they need in-home services or any of those things, we really treat the member holistically. And I think that that is really the genesis of what the Navicare program really is all about.
And I think one of the things I know, as we were involved in this, it took over a year for it to evolve and us get involved. And what I know is it was rolling out. One of the things that was very exciting, I know, to many of the people we talked to was that it acknowledges that there is both a medical part of aging and staying healthy, but there's also the social determinants of health.
Correct.
And it's a big focus on that
Correct.
and getting out and having a social and engagement with the community aspect to the program.
Right, and that's, to Kim's point, doing that research ahead of time and making sure that we understood what was important in the Berkshires. And one of those things is transportation. And so as part of the Navicare program, besides the Mass Health standard benefits and the Medicare, there's so many extras that a member gets. And those are dental coverage, and that includes full and partial dentures. We have eyewear and vision coverage. There is a lot of medical transportation, fitness center reimbursement for those people. And it's really a program where we want to meet the member at their needs. And we have people who are diabetic. We can help them control that. We have med management programs. There's just so much that we do to try to control the members' social and medical care so that they're getting everything that they need to stay healthy in their homes, because really that is what Navicare is, right? To remain independent in their home.
Now, going back to transportation, we were fortunate enough to host an event back in a few months ago, or a while ago, about bringing some transportation to Berkshire County, and you guys very generously donated a all-terrain or all-wheel vehicle to two different councils on aging. So maybe you'd like to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so one of the things that in my role at Fallon Health is to really get to know and understand what those barriers are to health in each community. In every community and every individual, their barriers are different, and it's recognizing that and being able to really work within a community. So work in partnership with the community to identify solutions, and it's something that we really pride ourselves on. So we took some time, worked very closely with you, John, to look at, what were some of the barriers that specifically affected our aging in the community. And that we knew that there were certainly some transportation solutions in place, and we had originally talked about purchasing a big passenger vehicle to continue to address some of those barriers, and then got feedback directly from the councils and learned that what they needed was actually a smaller vehicle, a vehicle where they could do one-offs, where they could do things that they could do one-on-one with a senior in the community, or even maybe 2 or 3 seniors, where they could take them to their medical appointments and or pharmacy and or grocery and or social community connections, that they could do it without having to wait for multiple drop-offs, which many of them can't bear. So with that knowledge, it helped us to come up with a great solution. So we were able to donate some all-wheel drive Nissan Rogues to the Lee Council on Aging and the Adams Council on Aging. And what we had identified to be unique about this is that there were no restrictions. That these vehicles are so that they can cross county lines. These vehicles are so that they can perform any types of resources, well checks. They're dropping off meals, they're taking an individual to a doctor's appointment that's out of state lines. It is creating all access for seniors who are in need to be able to get the transportation they need, and for it to be supported by some incredible volunteers at those councils on aging.
And I know both of them were thrilled to get them. And we did an article in the Berkshire Senior paper, and we've done other things. I know they've gotten a lot of nice publicity. But I also, like you said, I think they very much filled a niche that just fixed route or scheduled. They were just and I think the councils on aging really have that that sense of the pulse of, there's little
Right.
things that sometimes can make a really big difference.
Right.
And then, like you said, it's not always just one person, it could be two or
Right.
three, but it just gives them that flexibility of
Right.
not having to drive
Right.
an entire, a 20 or 12 or a 24 person van and all that. They
Right.
can actually go out and do those things. And I know in both cases, because I see them out and I'm out and about a lot, that they're getting lots of use.
Yeah.
And
That's
I think
great.
it's a great partnership, and I think it was a really good way to, as you said, to look at what you've learned about the county and then actually come up with a solution or something that, transportation is always going to be an issue in Berkshire
Right.
County, but this is a way to help in a very focused way
Right.
and a way that really is going to be targeted towards those communities. Talk a little bit about, if you could, with Navicare, is this does someone stay in Navicare, forever? Is it a thing where you evolve over time to different programs, or if someone's thinking about enrolling, what should they expect?
Yep. So to enroll in Navicare, I just want to go through the gates. You want to be 65 or older, and you're on Mass Health Standard, and you may or may not have Medicare. So we really will have that member live independently at home, right? That's the goal. So we will put services in place to make sure that happens. But if a member can no longer be in the community, we do have long-term care coverage so that if somebody needs to transition into a nursing home, for instance, we will follow them into the nursing home. I think it's also important to note that it's a voluntary program. So if somebody is not happy with Navicare, which I couldn't imagine that they wouldn't be with all of the extra services, they can come on and go back off.
Right.
But we find that most people who join the program don't leave because of all of the value add that they get. And really, I can't emphasize enough the navigator role and how important that is to make sure that they're assessing the member and at any point in time, right, if their healthcare needs change, that we're addressing those as they come up. And I think that's really important to make sure that they're home and comfortable and can live independently, which again is really the focus of the program.
And that's often, when we meet with folks
Yeah.
for the first time, if we get a referral for the state home
Yep.
care program,
Yep.
we are often the same, or whether it's for the meals program.
Yep.
We encourage people, make that phone call for yourself,
Yep.
for your loved one, for your parent, sibling, whatever, because you never know what services might be available
Right.
that you might be eligible for, and it begins that connection with
Right.
the larger support system.
Right.
And we always say, just call.
Yep.
Maybe we can't do this, but we might be able to do that, and it begins that pattern of getting that assistance, so that we often say, we can address something when it's this big instead of when there's a
Absolutely.
crisis and
Yep.
you lose the chance to make decisions, or
Right.
And all those kinds of things.
Yep.
That may when you end up in an emergency room, that's not a good place to be making decisions, about long-term care and that type of thing. Talk a little bit about, if you guys could, Fallon's approach to engaging with the communities where it's at. How do you? You're across the whole state.
Yep.
How do you look at that from your headquarters in Worcester?
Well, we don't stand at the headquarters in Worcester. We try to stay out of the office as much as we can. Honestly, the reality is in order to understand a community, you have to be in that community. And, with the community relations, that's really our job. It's to understand what's happening in each community. And we do cover the whole state. So we're not everywhere every day, but I think it's important to build relationships and partnerships in the community. So there are lots of coalitions that are currently working on issues that address seniors and young families and address community needs. And it's about being at that table, being a resource, being a contributor, and taking advantage of working collaboratively with organizations that are out there understanding the communities that they're in. So we partner in many ways. So for instance, in the Berkshires, we focused on vehicles, specifically for senior transportation. In Worcester, we actually purchased vehicles to help a soup kitchen who needed to do food rescue and was in their vehicle to do so failed. So they needed a vehicle so that they could continue to rescue food, so that they could continue to feed over 600 homeless individuals weekly. And in another community, they needed a pantry They needed a pantry that was built in a clinical setting. So there were pantries in the community, but one of the gaps was the relationship between the doctor and the patient who was having a hard time with, I need to take these meds with food, or I'm diabetic and I'm having a hard time controlling my medication, but I don't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. So we literally try to be in a community, identify their unique needs, their gaps. We really look at those social determinants of health to help us be a better resource. So we look in the community, we partner in the community, and we come up with solutions that are key to that community and the needs of the members.
And I'll just give a testimony. I was part of your grant process. We've received grants, but I
Yes.
also was on the evaluation panel
Yes.
last year. Wasn't quite sure what it was going to involve when I
Yep.
volunteered, and then when 100 and some applications showed, I realized I was going to have a busy summer. But it was incredible to see the breadth of the types of investments that you're making in communities all across the state, including Berkshire County, and looking for those that are going to have the most impact. And what, how far can this place take this dollar and have, how many people can they expand it across? And it was really impressive and humbling to see the kinds of things that you guys are, made us feel good about our partnership in many ways that you've, like you said, when you go to a place, you figure out what you can do and make sure that you're not duplicating, you're not stepping on anybody's toes, but you're actually having an impact very directly on folks who are in need, again, like the vehicles. So, seems like a small problem, but it was a perfect solution for those whose councils on aging to expand their impact. And especially important here with small communities. But it's, the breadth of your investment across often communities in need especially was really great to see.
And that's really what our focus is that we really look to where are the gaps, where is the most need, and that's where we want to apply our resources. I mean, we're a nonprofit health plan. We don't have a ton of extra resources, so we really want to distribute them in a meaningful way. So that's why we really align with the communities. Berkshire's, I'm just going to do a quick call out. We would love to see some more submissions, more applications from this community. And we don't send you in blind. We're a resource. You call us, we will help you navigate through your application. We'll talk to you about what types of programs might apply, and we'll also make sure that you're not wasting your time. If you don't have the right program, let's look to see what program you have that would be a better fit.
And I can give witness to that you're very, it is not an adversarial process.
No,
doesn't mean
thank
you
you.
get, but it's a
Right.
very collaborative, like, oh, we can't help you with this, maybe we can help you with that. But it's not adversarial, you just don't send it off and, a year later you hear, it's a very
Right.
collaborative. And I think that's nice about that grant program is that, you're helping us see it and like, well, have you thought about this? And so it helps us refine our own applications here.
And one of the other things, just to add note, is that that's not our only funding program. Right. We launch our food insecurity grants in in September. Great program. A lot of programs qualify and do some form of food insecurity, so reach out to us when we launch that and we can assist. We have mini grants, which is a smaller version of our community benefits grants, which fund up to $5,000. Those are a great way to get connected to and prepare for a larger community benefits grant. It connects you to the way we apply, what the application process looks like. It's all online, very easy, and puts everyone on the same level playing field with applying. So whether you're a novice, or you've never done a grant before, this is the application is really accessible for everyone. And then we also do corporate sponsorship.
Right.
So
Yeah. And we've seen that around.
Yeah.
Yes, we all know that your favorite color is orange.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
So we've seen the billboards and the vehicles and the buses. So yes,
My
corporate
favorite color is
sponsorship.
black,
Yeah.
but no. Yes.
The corporate sponsorship, you've made that point.
Yes.
There's no
Yes.
question about that. So Deb, going back to Navicare.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't want to put you on the spot with numbers, but what happens, or what is it that you're seeing? You've done this for a while now. Across the state. What is the impact of someone, and what do you see? How does it impact someone's quality of life and longevity when they enroll in that program?
That's a great question, and I think that again, it depends on where the member is when they come into the program. But we've seen people with severe diabetes who have been stabilized. We've seen people who may have needed long-term care placement who, because we've gone into the home and been able to put in a bunch of in-home services and really stabilize that member, kept them at home for a couple more years. We all know that that's where people want to age, right? In place, in their homes, in their communities. And so we very much care about making sure that that member is safe and in their home. We have great work that we need to do in the Berkshires, right? We know that there are members who could benefit from the program, and we have our outreach team that are out talking, to Kim's point, in the community, right? We are at senior centers, housings, anywhere that we think our seniors are going to be, that's where we want to meet them. And so we want to make sure that we're doing that. And so you're going to see us a lot more out in the community because the dual eligible population in the state of Massachusetts, there are about 90,000 dual eligible still not on a SCO program in Massachusetts, and in the Berkshire specifically, there are about 5,000 that we know that we can help and support through this program.
And by dual eligible, you mean both Medicare and Medicaid?
Yep.
Right.
Or they could, right? They may have just Mass Health Standard,
Right.
may or may not have Medicare. Yep.
Right. So I want to thank both of you for coming.
you.
I know you have to get on the pike and go one direction or the other a lot, and we appreciate you coming out here. But I just want to say, because I know this has come up, this is not a zero-sum relationship
Right.
in our minds as the local Aging Services Access Point. We feel it's very much a collaboration and that it's mutually beneficial for the people that we serve, whether they're served by you in the SCO or by
Right.
us in the state home care, that it's helping people get the services they need. So we really
Absolutely.
appreciate you coming out and spending the time.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Thank you for
it.
watching.
Till 2:45, would you lock the door? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 60?